Hey everybody, coming up on Sports Central, we have Jeff Clark with the Polk Area Bicycle Association and 3 Hall of Famers being inducted in June. Who are they? Well, stick around and you'll find out on this edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, and welcome to the 250th edition. It's hard to believe, Neil, of Sports Central, and it's just, wow. It seems that long, but it doesn't seem that long.
Yeah, over 10 years that the show's been on the airwaves here through PGTV, and of course we want to thank them, because without PGTV none of this would have been possible. But 250 shows, I don't know what's more impressive, that they've allowed us to be on this long.
Here it comes.
Or, well, just, you know what, I won't even go there. But before we forget, this segment brought to us by Contempo Vacation Rentals, great partners of Tourism and Sports, but their segment sponsor.
Quick shout out to our PGTV crew, Mayanne Nelson and Mark and Brian and Russ Daly and the rest of them. I mean, they just do a phenomenal job. And I will say that this is the best crew we've ever worked with.
Yeah, absolutely, and special thanks, of course, to all of them. But I think one of the things that we don't talk about all the time is the fact that it gives us a competitive advantage. It gives tourism and sports marketing a competitive advantage against other destinations when we're going out to recruit events to Polk County, that we can promote those events on this show. They are part of the team that has made tourism and sports marketing successful over the years.
Well, absolutely, but also, you know, the citizens and the businesses of Polk County, they get to find out what's going on.
Right.
You know, what the latest and greatest is, and they get to hear it here. And nobody does it better than PGTV. So kudos to them and the hard work. I mean, it's nonstop.
Yep.
It really is. Yep. So great stuff. Well, speaking of nonstop cycling, these guys are nuts. Girls are, I mean, man, they're riding. Oh, I'll ask some friends of mine. How far did you ride today? You know, I was expecting, 15, 20 miles. Oh, no, we were out 60 miles today. That's crazy. You know, but they're out there doing it. We see them all over the county.
Yep.
And Polk County is a bicycle-friendly community. Here to tell us about it, Mr. Jeff Clark. And Jeff, PABA, Polk Area Bicycle Association, has been a long time friend of Polk County tourism and sports marketing. And arguably, if it wasn't for PABA, the very first bicycle guide for Polk County would never have been produced. So kudos to you and your organization, and that was taking place a long time ago.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
About 20 years ago, and you know, the volunteers and the people are second to none. You've got a great organization. Tell us a little bit about, you know, how you all got started and how long you've been riding and all that fun stuff. So, you know, people understand, hey, I'm kind of interested in cycling. I can do it too.
Well, PABA started probably 40 years ago with just some group of cyclists that would ride to Buddy Freddy's in Plant City and meet up with some other Tampa cyclists. So they would all get there and say, hey. And then we actually organized more as an association in 1979. And just a group of people that like to get together, ride bikes, you go someplace, you have breakfast, you talk about the week, you know, de-stress, and then you ride home and you get on with your weekend.
Mark was talking about Polk County being a bike-friendly community, in fact, a bronze-level bicycling community. What does that mean?
That means that we're recognized as promoting having safe trails for cyclists. We have you see the Share the Road signs along Polk County all over the place. And so we're just trying to make the public aware of cyclists out there. And, you know, Polk County is a great place. We have a lot of emptiness, back roads to ride on. We just want the cars to know that, you know, we're out there.
Jeff, you know, cycling is something that truly is a lifetime sport.
Yes.
I mean, you know, from cradle to grave,
right,
essentially, and people can get involved relatively easily. But in your case, how did you go from like riding your bike to school, to whatever it may have been, to now, I mean, what you're doing is not exactly normal in the terms of distance and the commitment to the sport. I mean, how'd you get started and eventually get to this level?
Look, I had a friend that introduced me to it, and he got me a job at a bike shop in Lakeland at Ben Cyclery. I worked there for years. And, it's just a love of outdoors. It's a love of being healthy. And it all just came together. You have a nice piece of machinery that you ride along, and it's just a fun sport and fun to, interact with people in that level. Plus, you're getting some exercise.
Well, it's all positive stuff. We like that.
I was just going to say, how have you seen over the years the roadways change in favor of cycling? Because I know a number of years ago, that wasn't really a thought process when maybe DOT or other officials were designing the roadways, but now it's incorporated in that, right?
Yeah, it's a law that you have to have bike lanes in all new roadway, or at least an easement. You see that bit of pavement to the right side of the white line, that gives us a safety zone. Nothing more scary than a car whizzing by your elbow at 35, but it's getting more friendly. There's more people out there, and people start to recognize, hey, he's not a cyclist. He may be somebody's dad, or he may be somebody's brother. And so the more we're out there, the more people recognize us, want to give us a little bit more space with the road.
Now, is it a family affair for you guys? Not that you're having an affair.
No. Well, I met my future bride at a bike shop.
Okay.
When I worked there. She came in to buy a bike, and she realized that why I wanted to always go ride a bike. We rode bikes together. We had our first child on the bike when the pediatrician said he could hold up a helmet, and then we've
Is
been
it catcher's
through it.
mitt?
It was pretty much. I was anxious to get him on there. My wife's like, no, wait till the pediatrician says. And so, I took the helmet to the, one of the baby, checkups. Can he hold this up yet? Boom, he was on a bike from that point. And, we've been together ever since.
Wow.
All the kids ride.
What does your wife do for a living?
She sells automotive tools and equipment.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Cyclist sells automotive tools and equipment. Man, you've got it made. The only thing better would be they're owning a liquor store.
I don't even know where to go with that. Let's talk about some of the facilities. I'll just turn away from it.
Right.
Let's talk about some of the facilities in Polk County, because we are blessed. Not only the roadways, but we do have some great facilities in Polk County where you can maybe go off-roading.
Oh yeah, Lois Hart Park is a great place to ride. That is started, the trails are built and maintained by Ridge Rider Mountain Bike Association. They do an awesome, job out there. There's regular trail maintenance days. They put in hundreds and hundreds of hours of maintaining those trails out there. We've had world-class cyclists come through, and even one did a 6-hour race out there. We call El Lagarto, the race of the alligator, because there are alligators out there.
Obstacle course.
Yeah, you don't go swimming for long. Yeah. But, he loved the trails, and he thought they were great for what Florida has to offer, because they're old phosphate trailings before they had to reclaim them. So you're riding down a trail that's 18 inches wide, but then it slides down 30 feet to the water on either side, so it makes it quite challenging. Yeah. I've ridden throughout the U.S. on a mountain bike, and out west, yes, they have long climbs. We're not used to the hour-long climb or the half-hour-long downhill. But there's nothing more technical in the world than what we have here at Lois Hart Park. So that's saying a lot. You have world-class cyclists come in and say, man, this is challenging.
The U.S. Olympic Committee's governing body of off-road cycling used to be called NORMA.
Right.
And is that still?
No, that was taken over by UCI, Union Cyclist International. Okay. So those races, come up, and you have the national level and then the world level. So it's like a farm league working up. Our local state is Gone Riding, which is an offshoot of UCI Cycling.
Okay, yeah, that's gosh, I can't remember the name of the guy that started that. Real nice guy. We worked with him on a number of events. And of course, I've been out to Loisart Park when we were, first thinking about, well, this would be a good area to get into, and then went to Colorado Springs to meet with, U.S. Cycling, and it was phenomenal to watch that growth.
Right.
It's just
Yes.
incredible. But the road cycling, I guess, lack of a better term, that you're involved in more so, has grown exponentially as well. I mean, it's been great. It's one of those quiet sports that's good for
Right.
you.
Right. Yeah, it's phenomenal. When I started cycling 20, 25 years ago, I would know everybody, in street clothes and what they look like in their cycling outfit. When we'd pass people and the kids like, "Who's that, Dad? Who's that?"
Yeah.
And I'd be able to tell them. Now, there's no way I can know everybody in Lakeland that's cycling, so let alone Polk County. We have a big group out of Southgate Shopping Center every Saturday morning. There's a group out of Bartow. Civic Center, there's a group out of Road and Trail Bicycles in Highland City, and those groups are 12, 20, 30 people. So it's just amazing how it's taken hold, and it's just a great, great sport.
I know we're starting to run a little short on time, but I do want to ask, because you don't have someone who's not been a runner and they go out and run 20 miles. Obviously,
Right.
the same is true with cycling.
Right.
What would your advice be to someone who's maybe watching at home that thinks, you know what, maybe I need some more exercise, or Polk County is a beautiful place, I want to get out there and see it on my bike? Who can they contact to be a part of a group, or what would you recommend to them as a start?
Well, I would like to say go to polkbiking.com, and that's our website for PABA. And that'll get you started. Go into your local bike shops. We have 4 great bike shops in Lakeland now, and tell them, hey, I want to get into cycling. I want to, cruise around the lakes, or I want to do some of the rails to trails. Lakeland and Polk County has some great rails to trails. You start there. And, the Fort Fraser from, Polk State College to Bartow, that's 7 miles one way. But you can just get warmed up there. You start at Polk State College, you ride down to Highland City, and you ride back. Wow, you've got 5, 6 miles. That's a start. Then you ride a little bit farther the next time, and it's building up. Like you say, you can't start out and run a marathon, but you get out, you ride a little bit, and, and a lot of people are intimidated by it. Oh, I don't ride like you. Well, that's okay. But if you're getting off your bicycle at the end and say, wow, that was fun, you're riding just like I am. That's what it is. We're all having fun, whether you're a off-road mountain bike or a road cyclist, or you're riding around Lake Hollingsworth. We're all having fun.
It's kind of like a little bit like golf. When you go out, you can either go out and play to be miserable, or you can go out, which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Or you can go out and you can have a good time. You have a bad shot. When I'm working with somebody that's not that great at golf, we'll hit another ball. Well, I can't do that. Sure you can. We're out here to have a good time.
Right.
And if you want to stop, what I'm hearing is you want to stop, you want to ride at a slower pace, great. We're just glad you're out here.
Right.
And that's part of the environment that PAB, or Polk Area Bicycle Association, creates. That's phenomenal.
It's all about the fun.
Yep.
And enjoying Polk County.
So
it's a beautiful place.
It's polkbiking.com.
Correct.
Okay, so if you're wanting to get into cycling, as Jeff said, you can go to a bike shop, 4 big ones here in Polk County, or go to polkbiking.com for more information. Wow, tremendous. And a great family sport. You just mentioned your kids.
Yeah.
And, truly cradle to grave, and it's something that you can do any gender, any size, pretty much anything, and get your exercise and have a great time doing it in one of the most beautiful places in all of Florida, right here.
Absolutely.
Great stuff. Jeff, thanks so much
thanks
for
for
joining
having me on.
Oh my gosh, we appreciate it, and been a big fan of your organization for more than 20 years. And kudos to the whole crew. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You betcha. Well, everybody, we're thankful for a lot of things here in Polk County. We've truly been blessed in so many ways. But as we reflect back, and we were talking about this being the 250th show, there was some great moments and some world-class athletes that we've had from the NFL, Major League Baseball, runners like Jim Ryan. List goes, Tracy McGrady goes on and on for many, many years, and we're truly thankful for that. but all hasn't gone as planned. And our illustrious production crew thought it would be entertaining for you to see some of those not so smooth transitions and interviews. We have some special bloopers for you. This is great. You'll enjoy it. And we'll be back right after this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third segment of Sports Central. Hank Longo along with Neil Righty Duncan.
Got to stop that.
Great third segment coming up.
You know, Laura and Dean and the whole crew, great job, great place to eat. And now they have a pet-friendly porch. So if you're out and about with the dog or the groomers, whatever, you can actually have dinner with your pet on the porch.
Oh my God!
So I can take you to Boilers with me, Hank.
I can't wait.
All right.
Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest on the show.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. If you're just joining us, I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, Mr. Neil Duncan. And this segment being brought to us by the Harborside in Winter Haven on Lake, remember?
Yes. This segment. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, Neil's stumbling a little bit because during the break, Officer Keegan tased him because Neil said that some disparaging remark or whatever it was, and we had to pick him up off the floor. And just one of those things. But
This guy.
it's not Eloise.
No.
It's not Lake May.
The Tracy McGrady Christmas Shootout. Tracy comes back and does so much for Polk County. We held at Auburndale High.
What is it? I forget.
Silence is golden. You're going to have to think about it. I'll test you at the end of the show.
I'll get it by the end of the show. You guys see that bus that just ran over me? Okay.
I just, I get stuff stuck in my head.
I'm well aware.
You don't ever want to spend much time up there, do you?
I actually, just a day, just to see
see
what
how
goes
it
through
works.
there. Hey, we our fourth and final segment then.
Smoke on the Water with Oliver the Pig. Oliver, so great to have you joining us. Well, it's great to be here, Hank, and I'm having a blast. Well, that's lovely. I see you got strawberry shortcake. We got the best strawberry shortcake in the world. Well, Oliver, thanks for being here and taking the time to talk to me. You're welcome. Okay, well, here I am with this gorgeous little piggy that wants to kiss everybody. Here you want a little, there you go. And for $3, you get to kiss the pig. And are you having fun here? Having a wonderful time here at Smoke on the Water. A little tired from all the kissing that's been going on here. What was that? You're tired from kissing last night? Well, who were you kissing last night? Mark Jackson. Oh, that's why you're so tired.
Okay, I gotta stand up on that. That's pretty cool. In the background here, I don't know if you guys can hear it on your television set, but sitting by the dock of the bay, Otis Redding.
Is that what you're hearing in your head? Is that what you're
When you started, boat racing in 1934, I've got a few things rolling in my head.
Yeah. Well, it's a family sport. My dad raced, I raced, my daughter and my son both raced.
Really? They still racing?
No. They, my son and my daughter got married. She married a guy that boat race sees.
Oh, they didn't get married to one another.
No.
Okay. I was going to ask you. You are from Kentucky or Tennessee, are you?
That was for the blooper reel. I wanted to manufacture that.
I like to see how senior athletes like Hank.
Look in the mirror.
It's an easy one. See a seniors athlete every day and night.
And hello, everybody. Rocking and rolling here on Sports Central. My co-host Hank Longo sitting to my right, to your left on your television dial. They don't have dials anymore. They just have clickers.
They just have clickers.
You remember dials?
I remember dials.
You had 3 channels.
I remember black and white. Unfortunately.
Well, our very special guest
Mark remembers just radio, so that's how far that one goes back.
Well, smoke signals weren't too far on the distant horizon for our next special guest, Bill Tinsley.
Bring it on down, Bill. There you
Welcome
go.
aboard, Bill.
Well, thanks, guys. You know, when you bring a guest on that's really got a face that's suited for radio, that's probably the best introduction you can get.
It's going south quick, everybody.
So
You know, what do you say? Welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson, and the clown to my left, to my right, to your left, is Neil Duncan.
You know, it's a good example of, well, let me get the segment sponsor first. People's Barbecue, great supporter of tourism sports. They're sponsoring this segment. But it's a good example of things that you do when you're younger coming back to haunt you. That last clip right there, yeah, that's part of it.
Where did they find this stuff? These guys must be looking for a bride.
You know what's funny though? You'll contact them and say, hey, we need this footage for this event coming up. Oh, it'll take us a few days to find it. Certainly didn't have a problem finding any of that footage, did they?
Creative, ladies and gentlemen, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, everybody.
Moving right along.
Yeah, moving right along on to a more serious matter. As we mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, we have the Polk County, the 15th annual Polk County All Sports Awards and Hall of Fame coming up. And that will be aired on Bright House Networks, by the way. You can check that out. But it'll be held at the Lakeland Center, and we have some impressive inductees this year, some true celebrities in the world of sports. We have one of them with us today, Bobby Downs. If you're from Winter Haven, certainly you know that name. If you're a Florida Gators fan, even a Seminole
I know
fan,
who he is, and I'm a Florida State fan.
You know who Bobby Downs is, and a guy that in some ways played in the shadow of Steve Spurrier, but played on both sides, offense and defense, with an impressive resume. Bobby, great to have you on board.
Thank you.
To have you here, and we're looking forward to the ceremony.
It's great to be here, and so am I.
Well,
Congratulations. And when you received the call, what's that feeling like?
It was fantastic. I mean, totally surprisingly fantastic. And by the way, my daughter went to Florida State. I disowned her.
I noticed she's not here today.
Right.
Well, sorry about that for her. But talk about that experience going from the high school level, you know, being an outstanding football player at Winter Haven High School, and also getting drafted for Major League Baseball, making that decision to go to the University of Florida, and what your experience was like.
Well, my dad was a baseball player. As there was about 12 or 14 in his family, and I think they almost had enough to have a baseball team.
Their own team.
But he said, son, he said, you know, it was at the time it was substantial, it was around $50,000, and that, I mean, to me, I'd never seen $20, but he said, you've got to make up your own mind. He said, an education will last a lifetime, and he said, you know, you may get hurt tomorrow in a minor league camp and you're finished. So I made my decision to go to Florida.
well, you got that education. You know, like my grandfather said, it's something that can never take away from you.
Exactly.
You know, and you can always use it as an asset, and you can either use it wisely or you can do it foolishly. And obviously you chose wisely. You know, playing baseball as well as football, you don't see that very often anymore, at least at an elite level. When you're playing for, you know, for the Gators, you're at an elite level. And then, you know, obviously being drafted, you know, it's reminiscent of the Bo Jackson type talent.
Bo's a little bigger than me, I think.
Yeah, he's he might be. I don't know, but anyway, he's a gifted athlete, and obviously so are you.
Well,
If you had to pick one or the other, and just in terms of sports that were the most fun for you to play?
Baseball.
Baseball?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, I thought that I would probably make that, my life's job.
Yeah.
And I thought I was pretty good at it, so I had a good shot.
Coaching versus playing?
Coaching, athletes seem to want to, compete, obviously. But coaching, I've coached some wonderful kids, and it's given me a lot of pleasure, and I like coaching too.
Yeah.
Of course, you're talking about playing at the University of Florida back in the 60s, and you guys still all get together, right?
Yes, we do. We go to the Silver 60s. Matter of fact, it's in a couple of weeks, I think. We
Got to look at the boss, his wife. By the way, everybody, his wife's in the studio. And what's her name? What's your wife's name? I didn't get it.
Boots.
Boots? How you doing, Boots? Good to see you here. She's quiet. Anyway.
Only here.
Yeah.
Oh, you can pay for that.
I've seen that
I'll
movie.
pay for that.
You're going to pay for that one.
That's okay.
Well, we'll talk about the experience from making the transition because, there's a lot of elite athletes out there, and they're great in the high school game, but that step to the college game is way different, and even a bigger step to professional level. What was that transition for you like?
Fortunately for me, I had quite a few successes in high school and college. When I played in a high school all-star game, I was the most valuable player in the North-South game. And in college, we got we played in the Sugar Bowl with Spurrier. We got to play in the Orange Bowl, and we got to play in the Sugar Bowl, and we had the opportunity to play again and decided that, we'd just forego not playing my senior year. So, if I think we were sort of tired, and the coaching staff were too, and it wasn't a major bowl like the ones that we've been used to playing in. So they decided not to do that.
Interesting. Playing as Steve Spurrier was a year older than you,
Yes.
and obviously some pretty heavy competition. there.
Absolutely.
And you ended up switching to defensive back, safety.
Yes.
And in that transition, looking back now, did you enjoy playing the defensive side of the ball or the offense, and why?
Okay. I wanted to play. Okay, I didn't want to sit on the sidelines. They said you can run punts and kickoffs back because I had pretty good speed. So, and I decided to play safety and corner. I played corner for a year and then safety for the next year. And of course, Steve, like I said, he took us to a couple bowl games, and I think he went to San Francisco. I believe that's where he signed.
Yeah,
He's
a good question. I don't know.
Extremely nice guy.
Yeah.
Still keep in contact with the old ball coach?
I don't go to South Carolina, but he comes to the Silver 60s.
Does he?
Yeah, sometimes.
Really? Yeah. That's cool. Where do they hold that?
Crystal River, I think, is the area.
Yeah, I love Crystal River. Great.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, great area. Great scalloping and fishing and all that fun stuff.
Well, let's talk about the coaching side of things. Obviously, you're going to pull on those experiences that you had in baseball and football. And how was that when you were coaching at Winter Haven?
We won. I think we won one championship. But like I said, coaching is a little different than playing. But the experience is exhilarating by the kids that you have played. When they're successful, that makes you successful, and it makes them. I've seen kid when he hit the ball out of the park. By the way, we played down where where Boston played.
Oh, at Chain of Lakes?
Yeah, Chain of Lakes Park.
Yeah.
So hitting one out of there is
Little
It's a shot.
is a shot. Yeah. And seeing kids be successful is very rewarding.
Yeah. You know, you had a long, very storied, successful career. And if, again, kind of looking back, what was the highlight for you of your sports career?
Yeah, you're gonna love this one. Like I said, God granted me the ability to play, and I've enjoyed quite a few successes. But I went in the Army as a first lieutenant. I went to play at, let's see, we played in the 3rd Army Football Championship, and I was the quarterback. And we played at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and beat them. And I got to boss colonels and captains around on the football field. So that was that was probably it. Winning that was the highlight.
So you're in the service. Did you go through ROTC, and then
Yes.
then you went directly in and
Directly in as a 2nd lieutenant, and then I got promoted once. And like I said, I wasn't bulletproof, so I decided that the next the next promotion, I was out of there.
Yeah.
So I stopped at being a first lieutenant.
Okay, well that's another success story, and sort of as a follow-up to that, you know, you had this long career, successful career, and military officer and so on. What are you doing now? What do you enjoy doing?
I enjoy fishing. I have this friend that lives next door to me, Chuck Tosh, and we bass fish every day.
Really?
Yeah. Now he's caught one I know of that over 12 pounds. So
12 pounds?
Most of them. I caught 2 or 3 this past week around 3 or 5 pounds.
Wow.
And that's a prolific place to fish out there.
Well, we're going to have to get a lot more information from you about all your accolades for the induction ceremony on June 23rd. And probably the best place to do that would be on the boat with you. So you just let us know when we need to put you out there.
You want to go bass fishing?
Yes, sir.
Damn. You can come out anytime, but we don't need a boat.
Oh, okay, even better.
If you
Stand
do,
there.
you need a big one.
Wow.
Hey, you come anytime you want.
Well, that's great.
Bobby, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very
Wow,
much. It's been a pleasure being here, guys.
Well, I've heard so much about you, and one of your biggest fans is Commissioner Todd Dantzler, and several others, and which, man, this guy's good. You know, holy cow! So, thanks so much for coming, and
Thank
to
you.
your wife Boots, and for joining you as well. Could have brought her up here too, but I think she's comfortable sitting in the audience. So there you have it. Once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, we were talking about big boats for Big Neil, and you're going to see the Weight Watchers poster child here coming up, because he is trimmed down, slimmed up, and he is doing a great job.
Just can't do it, can you?
Check out these bloopers, because this is the 250th show for PGTV's Sports Central. We'll be back right after this.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sport. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Sports Central. Neil Duncan aside, Joe Cutler, and I'm done. The first one was fine.
No, it wasn't. It was horrible.
Your mom's horrible.
No, I didn't fart. Oh, you did? We have some very special guests as we talk about. We're going to kick it off with a thank you, of course.
Okay. Come
You
on.
forgetting somebody?
Am I? No. Who am I forgetting?
I don't know. I think we have a sponsor. Or
I already did the sponsor about a minute ago.
I knew that. I'm still living in 2012, is what you're telling me.
I think
Dementia's a
he's
horrible
sneaking
thing,
up on
everybody,
that
and that's our next
100-year-old.
segment, by the way. Dementia right here in Polk County, and
Moving
Mark
right
Jackson will
along.
be our first case study. Thank you very much. They have batting cages there. I think think Mary Beth wanted to take me into the batting cage, use my head as a ball the other day, but you know,
That'd be fun to watch.
that's kind of abuse at home, right?
Yeah. You still work out at home to your Richard Simmons DVDs.
No, I had to stop that when you picked that up in the Jane Fonda tapes.
You and those cute little pink lycra
Tiny
shorts
tights.
that you used to wear.
And with us, a very, very special guest who has actually, he could be a candidate for Biggest Loser because he's lost so much weight. I walked in, I had to, you know, turn around and make sure I faced him straight on.
Great way to introduce your first guest.
He knows me well.
Biggest Loser. Well, you could be one too. You know, holy moly. But anyhow,
Jack, you're looking great.
Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate that.
Well, El Chua, or El Turris. Or what did I just say?
I don't know. We're trying to figure that out.
Where are they based out of?
They're based out of Wauchula.
Wauchula.
Yeah, but they do cover the entire state of Florida.
You know, El Turris, Wauchula, and you know,
Yeah, they're
it's
all-
kind of what's that
they're all
term?
in
You
Florida.
combine words, and there's a term for that. Longo disease. That's
He's trying to get in there.
just chip away at that
gonna chip
zinger I
away
got
at that one. That's
here. Well, I don't have a skirt, but I know you do, so you might want to give it a shot.
Wow. Is that the Halloween deal? Or?
Oh, he likes dresses. Princess Diana is one of his heroes.
We must have been a baseball player then. You know how they wear the different things for good luck?
Where can you get this kind of abuse on your birthday?
Just for the abuse.
Okay.
So, and then right now I have a registrant that's 76 years old signed up to do it.
Did you sign up?
No, I'm.
You both owe me money on the way out.
Man, this is next day. It is only the first round, everybody.
You'll see me bagging groceries at Publix on Monday.
Paper, plastic, everybody. And the championship committee, Kurt Elmhorst. You know, you can't say enough about. Got fruit flies in here. I think they're attracted to Mr. Duncan. We got a basket of fruit and nuts here, and there's fruit flies buzzing around his head. Oh my
It took
goodness.
exactly 2 segments for this show to crash and burn. We're here with former All-American for West Virginia, the big mountaineer, Polk County resident, Brian Jozuak. Brian, you having a good time out here tonight?
Oh man, this is great. Anytime I can get around this game and watch some awesome talent from all around the state of Florida come right here in Polk County and play a great game is where I'm going to be, brother.
He sounded like Hogan!
For the purpose of this interview, FHSA State Finals official Bill Beasley. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. What are we doing now? Do we start interviewing him?
For Al Snow, this is Neil Duncan. We'll see you again next time.
This edition of Sports Central has come to a close, but hey,
Oh, wait, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Oh, don't let, got him. Hey, folks, we want to thank Harry Seafood Bar and Grill, the golf club at Bridgewater, Hollywood Tinting and Signs, and the Ledger. Thank you so much. Oh, Mark.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, back to a little normalcy. This is Mark Jackson for Hank Longo. There you have it, everybody. And this is segment number 3 of Sports Central. Mr. Duncan, you're a changed man over the years.
I know where you're going with that.
Silence is golden.
This segment brought to us by Bright House Networks. Thank you for their support. And you're talking about my ability to push away from the table a little bit better now?
No facial hair.
We all get old. Age
Some
like
people.
a fine wine.
Yeah, I could think of another analogy, but I can't say it on TV.
Oh, please do.
No, I'll pass on that opportunity. Thank you very much. Well, we just had one of our Hall of Fame inductees for 2015. You know, phenomenal athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Downs is certainly humble and sounds like a great fisherman too.
We're going to find out.
Well, we're going to find out a little bit more about another inductee. His name is John Dunlap. And if you're into basketball, there's a name synonymous 2005 national champions. I mean,
Southeastern.
phenomenal. Girls basketball. And John, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. Usually we're talking about another one of your great seasons, which there have been many. But I'm going to steal a little thunder from Neil and ask the question about when you got the call, what was your reaction?
Well, I got the call from my athletic director, who got a call from the Ledger and left a message on there. So he brought his phone over to me and he put it up to my ear asking Kevin Jones, our athletic director, for my phone number because I was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I just heard somebody wanted my phone number and then Hall of Fame, and it just didn't register with me, you know. And then he played it again, and I was like,
oh, wait a minute.
Really? You know, so I mean, I was stunned at first, and it's just overwhelming, Mark. It's just overwhelming. It's so special.
Well, 40 straight South Region, I mean, it just games for, what does it say, from 2003 to 2006. I mean, that's not normal. That's a phenomenal record. You know, and we've had the opportunity to enjoy your analysis and your insights into the sport of basketball for years. But you know, you start looking at your record, I'm going, really? 426 wins. I mean, it's just like go down that list, and that is incredible. What if you were to point your finger at one thing? Now that's a tough question because there's so many things that created that success. What would it be?
You know, like you said, there are so many things. To point at one thing, to me in my life, it's the Lord's favor. You know, that's the deal with me.
Blessed.
I am truly blessed. So that's the one thing that would stick out. You know, obviously, you have to have players. You know,
but that takes recruiting, which is another talent.
Yep. You have to have players, and then, you know, it's the school's administration backing you. That's a huge deal. It's your coaching staff. It's the community that you're in. You know, it's just so many pieces that have to be put together to have so much success.
You talk about the support of the schools, and let's kind of go through the time period, because you've been at was it three schools right here in Polk County, Southeastern, Weber. And now at Warner, correct?
Yes.
Talk about those experiences, maybe that great memory from each one of the schools over the years.
Well, I started off at Weber, and again, the Lord opens the doors for each place, you know, so that's how I approach it. And that was my first coaching job. So you learn so much. You know, you think you know a lot until you get into it. So probably the student athletes are the thing that, you know, jump out at each place. And they're the same, but they're different. At Weber, the first year the conference was formed. It's now the Sun Conference, but at that time it was the Florida Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. So the first year we won it. So that was a nice piece of history that always sticks out. And again, the student athletes are the thing that always comes to mind. At Southeastern, it's again, the administrative support there. Dr. Mark Rutland, who hired me, he was a big basketball fan. That always helps when the president's the basketball fan.
Oh yeah, a little more pressure though too.
Yeah. He also knows how you're doing.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. The national championship, obviously, is the thing that really sticks out there. And there's so many people always involved. The coaching staff, we had the team chaplain, Roosevelt Hunter. He played a huge part in bringing the team together. And you don't win national championships unless you have a great team, you know, that they care about each other at such a high level. So the national championship at Southeastern and the people that you're around all the time. My assistant coaches at Southeastern were way too much fun. Steve Reddy and Eddie Anderson. We just had such a great time doing it, and we had such wonderful young men. So, but the national championship and then the people, and now at Warner, again, it's an amazing place with amazing people, and it starts with the president, Greg Hall. You know, he keeps the main thing, and so it's fun working for him. Kevin Jones, our athletic director, who was on the show before.
Yeah, we know Kevin.
You know, if you could create a boss, it would be him. I mean, he just gets it.
Well, it's a kind of sounds to me like there's a real common thread, and there's several common threads here. But you know, it's like in education or in sports, or even in the workplace. You know, you make it an enjoyable place, a fun place that you can achieve success. You know, still working hard, focused in on the goal or results. You know, you're bound to have success. But if you boil all that down, what is, you know, I asked you about the one thing, you know, like in the movie City Slickers. What's that one thing, you know? And you know, the question is, you have to be motivated. You have to motivate. What's motivating you, and what motivates you to continue coaching and to continue motivating those athletes, those student athletes?
I think it comes back to growing up and just having a passion to play sports. Played basketball, baseball, football up in Syracuse, New York, and it just brought out the best and the worst. Yeah. You know, but I guess I'm very competitive, and I love that arena. Yeah. And it's definitely a transition going from playing to coaching. The coaching part, again, I just love it. I love going to work every day. You know, the pure basketball part, I love preparing. I love watching film, breaking it down, and game planning and practice planning, and talking to Sean Hanrahan, the men's coach. You know, what would you do in this situation? So the passion is still there. That doesn't die at all. So, but now probably the main thing that motivates me more than anything is just helping now the young ladies grow in their faith. You know, just talk to them about Christ as much as I can, and have other people come in, you know, because they don't want to hear me talking all the time, because that's what they do.
Just like your kids.
Yes, just like my kids. You know, that's nothing new.
Yeah.
So, but that I think the passion to coach and the motivation is really directed on helping them grow in their faith. And Warner University is a great place to do it, because they encourage you to do that there.
Right. And you were out of the game for a couple of years, I think 2 seasons before you made the transition to be the head coach of the women's program.
Yes.
You're not exactly reinventing yourself, but it's got to be different, right? What are the challenges in changing to the women's game?
Well, I've coached women before at Weber with cross country and women's golf at Warner. So I had a little experience, but I got counseling before I did it. You know, I called friends.
You get counseling afterwards, probably too.
Well, that's my wife's job.
That's your.
And she does a great job. But I really did. I spoke to men that coach women in college, and you know, what am I to expect? How do you handle these situations? So it's it was. I do have to reinvent myself in the sense of recruiting, because I know, you know, so many boys coaches in high school and so many junior college coaches on the men's side. So I have so many connections there, but now I got to learn all the women's coaches and programs in the state so I can recruit efficiently.
Right.
There you go.
Wow. Amazing. The number that jumps out to me is 426 wins. That's
a lot.
That's getting it done, as they say.
Yeah, I've been coaching, what, 24 years, 23 years?
25 years in basketball.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible. 25 years.
All in Polk County.
Well, June 23rd will be inducted into the 2015 class of the Polk County Hall of Fame, and congratulations again.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you, as part of that very select group, pro athletes, amateur athletes, coaches. You're part of that group now, so congratulations to you and your family and all the colleges that were blessed by having your coaching skills and talents and so on. So, John, thanks so much for joining us as well.
Thank you very much.
We
It's been a
appreciate that.
pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, we've been blessed to have so many gifted coaches, but we also have some gifted athletes in Polk County. A young lady by the name of Michaela Groth.
Yeah, she's a high school wrestler, and she
Female wrestler. I mean, it's just like, okay.
She wrestles against the guys in
But she competes-
matches, but at the state level,
she competes
won a
against the
state
young ladies.
championship in the ladies division. So
Well,
great
she's-
athlete.
Yeah, she's from Auburndale, and not too far down the road from the Lake Myrtle Sports Park, and superb athlete, state champion. And we have some great insights into her life as an athlete on and off the field. Check this out, everybody. Mark and Neil, we'll be back with segment number 4 and a wrap. See you soon.
People will be like, oh, you're a female wrestler for Auburndale? I'm like, I've been varsity 106 for 3 years.
Somewhere between who I am and who I'm called to be.
She's a wrestler. She's not a girl wrestler in our room.
They wrestle 10 times harder against me than they do against a fellow guy.
No boy wants to lose to a girl.
Sometimes I feel like they're in a hard situation. Like, if you beat a girl, then you're mean because you're beating up on a girl. Or if you lose to a girl, then you're soft because you just lost to a girl.
The guys have adapted to it. We have a senior loaded team. We have like 11 or 13 seniors, and she's one of them. So they've known each other for a while, and they work well together.
Well, we're just one big family. Like, I don't look at them as like anything other than my brothers, and they all look after me. If anyone messes with me, then I always have my boys to back me up. I like to try everything. I've tried like tennis, soccer, softball, cheerleading, everything. And then 8th grade year came around and it's like, Mom, I want to wrestle, I want to try this. And she's like, okay, we'll see. She thought I was going to quit, like go out there and get my butt beat. Actually ended up beating everyone and I fell in love with it.
She's done well every year, but her junior year, specifically, she went, I want to say 24-11 on varsity against boys. That's good.
My first match was against a girl, ironically. That didn't last long. I pinned her in like 10 seconds, first match. And then I wrestled a guy, and I got up at one point. His mom was really mean. She was like yelling at him, saying if he lost to me that he would get in trouble and stuff. And then I like cowboyed him, stuck him. And then she, like, when I got up, she was like shaking her head. She started crying. I was like, oh. And then he started crying because he knew he was going to be in trouble by his mom. My mom was super happy though. I used to have really pretty dirty blonde long hair to my hips. So I ended up having to cut it where it's like shorter than my eyebrows, shorter than my ears. And I was like, you know what? Doing it for my sport, I love it, cutting it all off. I think this proved that I'm serious about my sport. Because you don't cut all your hair off if you're not serious about it. I won Girls State 2014, 106 pounds. That was probably one of the proudest moments I've had in wrestling. I think my mom came over and she told me how proud she is of me, and she told me I'm her hero, and no matter if I lose or win or anything. And 2, 1, I love my mom. She's proud of me, and I'm more proud of her than she could ever know. That made me cry again. My mom is an inspiration to me. She took care of us. She was a single mom, 2 kids, you know. She had multiple jobs. She got us as much as she could. Maybe that's why I'm so dedicated to my future, is because I know what I came from and I know what I had. But at this point, it's about my education. It's about my future. So wrestling is my gateway to my future. So when I get there, I'm going to focus more on my education than my wrestling. The wrestling will be what is getting me my education. There was this girl wrestler there that went to Missouri Valley named Clarissa Chun, and she ended up being a bronze medalist in the Olympics. And I was like, I want to be like her. So maybe 8 years from now in the 2020 Olympic trials, whatever, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna kick butt and I'm gonna be a medalist in the Olympics. And I will work my butt off to do that. Hi, I'm Michaela Groth, and I'm a female wrestler on an all-boys varsity team.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. You're kind of like you're tightening up there, expecting a shot.
You never know what you're going to do when we come back.
If you're just joining us, I'm Mark Jackson, and to my right, to your left, Mr. Neil Duncan. And Neil, we had the opportunity to interview 2 of the 5 candidates that are going to be inducted into the 2015 Hall of Fame, Polk County Sports Hall of Fame, along with the All Sports Awards aired on Bright House Networks. June 23rd, coming up quick. It's not too far away. Huge event. Usually 600-700 people attend at the Lakeland Center. And tell us a little bit about the other candidates or the other inductees that ultimately will be inducted on the 23rd.
Yeah, typically.
Because they're celebrities.
Yeah, typically five inducted into the Hall of Fame. But before I mention the other 3, this segment brought to us by the Hampton Inn, Lakeside Village, great partner of tourism and sports.
Great
Don't want to
place.
forget
I love
them.
staying at the Hampton.
But you look at it. We already talked to John and Bobby, but Colin Smith from right here in Bartow was a Union Academy star when that was a high school before it became a magnet middle school. But basketball, football, and track, just world-class athlete, and he's going to be inducted. Distinguished alumni from Bethune-Cookman. He was awarded that award in 2014, so he went up there and did great things. So that is Colin Smith, and then we also have George Harris.
He joins Ken Riley, also from Bartow.
Yeah,
our good friend Ken, and been a real asset to Polk County sports. He's been terrific. Of course, a NFL star, and it was Bengals and others.
Should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They're still working
with his
on that.
numbers.
Yeah, absolutely should
no
be.
No question about it. And just a genuine nice man.
Absolutely.
Great guy.
Absolutely. But we were talking about George Harris is going to be inducted this year to the Polk County Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame on the contributor level. What George did for youth sports and sports across Polk County. Of course, we lost George a number of years ago, but you always
playing
George,
sports.
Playing sports, tennis, yeah, but was Citrus and Chemical Bank. He was the face of that organization, and just a great guy, and his contributions to sports and facilities in Polk County. And then Tracy McGrady. I don't think we have to go in depth into what Tracy McGrady did.
7-time NBA All-Star.
Yeah, 2-time scoring champion in 2003 and 4, NBA Most Improved Player in 2001, 7-time All-NBA team, and he was the 9th overall pick in 1997. So Tracy McGrady. There's a whole committee that goes into goes through all this information, and they accept the nominations. They vote on it, and you have to be out of your sport for a certain number of years. Tracy McGrady has now reached that, and he is now in the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame, and well deserved. Yep.
Well, one thing I have to say about George Harris that a lot of folks don't know is that he was one of the founding human beings of the Polk County Sports Marketing, the original back in 1992. And Gene Engel and Ron Morrow and Dave Ellsworth, George Harris, they were saying, we've got to do this, and ultimately that's where we are right now. Well, Neil, we've got a few people to thank.
Yeah, we've got some corporate partners that help this show possible, as well as some of the events going around the county. Cleveland Heights Golf Club, Hungry Howie's Pizza, Sunsplash Vacation Rentals, Hampton Inn, Winter Haven, and Harry's Old Place. We want to thank them for their help and their support.
All great folks, and our next live show, number 251, everybody. We've been blessed to have 251 coming up on June 12th. Make sure you check Mark and Neil out, or Neil and Mark out to be grammatically correct. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.